Well, we now know who New York's next police commissioner will be. Mayor-elect Eric Adams expected to name Nassau County Chief of Detectives Keechant Sewell as New York's next top cop. But the current police commissioner, Dermot Shea, still has a few more weeks left on the job before he retires. In our last sit-down interview with the commissioner before he leaves the NYPD, he looks back at his legacy and his time as police commissioner marred by a spike in crime, which he attributes to the pandemic and bail reform laws.
We were in such a good place in 2019, 18, 17 of, the phone would ring on this desk every day. People want to come here from around the world, certainly around the country. How are you doing it? You remember our press conferences where it was getting boring, frankly. There was nothing to talk about crime-related. We were counting days without shootings. And here's the key point for the quote-unquote reformers to remember. We were doing it all while we drove incarceration down to the lowest levels in New York City. That was 2 years ago. So that's probably the biggest shame of all of this, in that it's not that hard to get back. Small fixes. I was up in Albany last week. We gave them a blueprint how to get the city back.
Obviously,
now they need to act.
You want bail reformed, right? Bail reform reformed.
There's no question. There's no question.
Is there any kind of, do you feel like there's any kind of support in Albany right now?
I think it's getting better, but I think we're far from where we need to be, honestly. And I think that ultimately, I think the people in New York State and New York City underestimate the power that they have. That's what's going to change it. I think Eric realizes this. I think he was very smart. He pivoted very quickly during the elections, if you remember. He saw what was happening, and he said, this is crazy. And that law and order type of, election, here he is as the mayor. I think, he'll do a good job. He's going to have to contend with a new city council. He's going to have to contend with the legislature and make his points around the table. There hasn't not been enough talking over the last 2 years. So I think he's a good communicator, and he's got to get the people in the room and find common ground. And if small changes, it'll turn quick.
Can we talk about crime? Because whether it's perception or reality, people feel unsafe in New York City. I mean, we're hearing shootings are up. If you take the subway, whether it's being pushed in front of a subway, whether it's robbery, whether it's repeat offenders, burning down a $500,000 Christmas tree in front of Fox News. The perception is that we're living in an unsafe city. What's the reality?
Yeah, well, I think it's a little of both. I think, when you look at historically, we remember what the city was like in the 80s and the 70s. Right. We're certainly not there. But how close do you want to get? Like, when do you say, hold on, we gotta course correct here? I think it's long overdue to make small changes to get back on track, to have a fair city. This is not an either-or situation here. We can do it all. We've proven you can do it all. But right now, you have the loudest, extremely small minority in the room, putting us on they're driving the bus, and they're driving us off a cliff. Like, people need to recognize, grab the wheel, and let's course correct.
Some people blame the mayor. Some people feel the mayor handcuffed you. Is that true?
No, I wouldn't say that.
Well, were you under certain guidelines from the mayor and you couldn't move outside those guidelines?
There's always a give and take, Rosanna. So, at the end of the day, the biggest issue that I've faced by far has been the changes to the laws. And this isn't about Dermot Shea. I've certainly been very vocal, and people have been critical, but I thought from day one, I'm representing 55,000 members of the NYPD. I was more worried about representing 8.5 million New Yorkers. And this was crystal clear. So to stay silent, I would have resigned on day one. There was no way I was going to stay silent. If we get this fixed, it'll turn very quickly. And that's the #1 issue. And I would say this, Rosanna. When I became police commissioner, this was an issue. It didn't start on day one with me. We knew this was coming from the prior year.
Well, 2019, you came on Good Day New York,
Yeah.
and you voiced your concerns about bail reform.
Yeah, I mean, it was passed in the dead of night. That should tell you something. You know, transparency is a wonderful thing. We hear that term thrown around all the time. Where's the transparency for the laws? Apparently, it doesn't apply. So in the dead of night, you pass a law in April of 19, as I recall, and they own it, as far as I'm concerned. And they should be held accountable. Yep. We had a police car. They tried to set a police car on fire this past weekend. Arrest made. He was arrested for the same thing this summer. So, you know, do you wait for the police car to be occupied and you have a dead police officer? I mean, if you can't take these things seriously when they're happening, I don't know what to say at this point. But I'll tell you, Rosanna, like, this isn't the police department speaking now. This is what I hear across New York City in every neighborhood. And I think that the legislators are slightly out of touch at this point.
Why aren't they listening?
Missing the point.
Why aren't they listening? Do they?
Well, I would ask you that. What do you think?
Do they not want to admit they made a mistake?
I think that's exactly it.
Should Rikers Island be closed?
No, I don't think so.
Why?
I think it's naive to say that we're going to not have a jail. So let me take a step back. I could care less if it's Rikers Island or anywhere, but we need a functioning jail. Now, currently it's on Rikers Island. I think politics is involved in this in terms of, you know, getting it to an artificial level, and then we can break it up and put it in neighborhoods. If that's what the people in New York City want, and that's what works to keep New Yorkers safe, I could care less if it's broken up 10 times or 1 time. But we need a jail. There are many that believe no one should be incarcerated. That's what worries me more. It would seem to me that we have an island in the middle of the water. Many cities would wish they had that scenario. And I don't think there's any denying that the conditions are abhorrent on Rikers Island. The staffing has been cut. If you believe even 1 out of 10 reports, the funding hasn't been there to keep it up. But you have an island with multiple jails that are closed and empty. It seems to me it's an incredible opportunity to, if you want to build new state-of-the-art jails, you can build it while you have a functioning jail system on Rikers. If there's a better alternative, do that. But what I would caution everyone listening here, when we had 7,000 inmates, we had the city under control. You dropped it 20% in 1 month as bail reform took over, and we saw skyrocketing crime before anyone had ever heard of COVID. You then pushed more people out of the jails, and you had a crime surge and violence surge that we're still trying to claw back from. So, incredibly complicated criminal justice system with many parts that is fragile at best. There is no room for politics in there. Listen to the professionals, take all the viewpoints in, and make informed decisions that doesn't compromise public safety.
And that's not all. I mean, we go there on other subjects as well this morning. I mean, there is a pickpocket at Rockefeller Center Christmas tree that you need to know about, because no matter how many times they arrest him,
he's back.
He's back. All right, that's coming up at 8 o'clock. Commissioner Dermot Shea. Also, his advice to incoming mayor and police commissioner, plus the legacy that he feels he is leaving behind.
Such a great interview with him.
Thank you.